Last week, I got a message from a 68-year-old woman named Margaret. She wrote, I haven't slept through the night in 4 years. I'm exhausted, my husband's exhausted, and I thought this was just my life now. 3 weeks after watching one of my videos, she sent me a photo of her sleep tracker. 7 hours, uninterrupted. No bathroom trips. She cried when she saw that number. Here's what most doctors won't tell you about nighttime urination. It's not just about your bladder. In fact, your bladder is often the last piece of the puzzle. The real problem starts 12 hours before you go to bed, in places you'd never expect. Your ankles, your inner thighs, even the way you're breathing right now as you watch this. Think about your day for a second. How many hours did you sit? In your car, at your desk, on the couch? Every hour you sit, gravity pulls fluid down into your lower body. Your ankles might swell a little. Your legs feel heavy by evening. You probably don't even notice it anymore because it happens every single day. But here's what you can't see. That fluid, all those extra ounces collecting in your tissue, they don't just disappear. The moment you lie down tonight, gravity reverses. All that fluid rushes back toward your heart. Your kidneys suddenly get flooded with volume they didn't have to deal with all day. And what do kidneys do when they get a flood? They make urine, lots of it, while you're trying to sleep. That's problem number one. But there's a second issue happening at the exact same time, and this one's even more frustrating. Your pelvic floor, the hammock of muscle that sits at the base of your pelvis and controls your bladder, it's gotten confused. For most people over 60, that muscle stays partially contracted all day long. It never fully relaxes. It's like a fist that forgot how to open. When your pelvic floor is chronically tight, it puts constant pressure on your bladder. Your bladder thinks it's fuller than it actually is, so it sends you urgent signals when you've only got a cup of urine in there, not the 2 cups it's designed to hold. You wake up thinking you desperately need to go, and when you get there, it's barely anything. Sound familiar? Now here's the good news, and I mean really good news. Both of these problems can be fixed with 5 specific movements you can do on your bed tonight. And I'm not talking about the stuff you've already tried. No calf raises, no putting your legs up the wall for 20 minutes. If those worked, you wouldn't be watching this video right now. These 5 exercises work on a completely different level. They drain the fluid before you lie down, and they retrain your pelvic floor to stop sending false alarms. I've taught this exact sequence to hundreds of people, and the results show up fast. Most people see a difference the very first night. Within a week, they're cutting their bathroom trips in half. Before we start, do me a favor. If you're someone who's serious about sleeping better, feeling stronger, and actually fixing these problems instead of just managing them, hit that subscribe button right now. I post videos like this every single week. Real solutions that work for real people. No fluff, no gimmicks, just practical guidance you can use tonight. All right, let's get into it. The first movement we're doing is something I call the drainage stroke, and we're starting in a place most people completely ignore. Not your calves, not your feet, your inner thighs. Right now, run your hand along the inside of your thigh, from your knee up toward your hip. Feel that? That soft tissue? Underneath it runs one of the largest drainage highways in your entire body. These are your lymphatic channels and your deep veins. They're responsible for carrying all the fluid from your lower legs back up to your core. But when you sit for hours, when you cross your legs, when those muscles get tight and congested, that highway gets blocked. It's like a traffic jam. The fluid can't get through. Everything backs up below the knee, and your calves stay swollen no matter what you do. So we're going to manually open that highway. Here's exactly how. Sit on the edge of your bed or in a sturdy chair. Cross your right ankle over your left knee, so your right inner thigh is exposed and completely relaxed. Take both of your palms, keep them flat, and press them firmly into the inner thigh just above your knee. Now slide your hands upward in one smooth, continuous stroke all the way toward your groin. Use real pressure here, not so hard that it hurts, but firm enough that you feel the tissue moving underneath your skin. This isn't a gentle spa massage, you're moving fluid. Do 6 to 8 of these long strokes on one leg, then switch sides and repeat. After the long strokes, use your thumbs or your knuckles to make small, slow circles along that same inner thigh line. When you hit a spot that feels tight or tender, stay there for 10 to 15 seconds. Breathe into it. Let it release. 2 critical rules. First, always stroke upward, from knee toward your body. Never push downward. You're directing fluid toward your lymph nodes, not away from them. Second, go slow. If you rush through this, you're only rubbing the surface of your skin. Slow, steady pressure is what reaches the deep fluid. When you finish both legs, sit for a moment. You might feel warmth spreading through your thighs. That circulation opening up. Perfect. The pathway is clear. Now we're going to start pumping. The second movement activates a pump that most people don't even know exists. It's not in your calves, it's lower, it's in your feet. Every time you move your ankle and flex your toes, you activate a network of tiny veins in the sole of your foot that push blood upward. Think of it like squeezing a sponge. Each squeeze sends a little wave of fluid up toward your heart. Sit back comfortably, support your lower back. Lift your right foot just slightly off the ground. Now rotate your ankle in slow, wide circles. 5 circles clockwise, then 5 circles counterclockwise. Make them as big and as smooth as you possibly can. You should feel a gentle stretch through your shin and your calf. Switch to the left foot and do the same thing. Now we're adding toe pumps. Point your toes down toward the floor like you're pressing a gas pedal. Hold for 1 second. Then, pull your toes back up toward your shin as far as they'll go. Hold for 1 second. Do 15 of these. You should feel a pulling sensation along the back of your lower leg. That's your calf pump activating. Here's the mistake most people make. They do these movements too fast and too small. Slow and wide is what opens the valves and moves the most volume. If your ankles pop or feel stiff at first, don't worry, that's normal. They'll loosen up after the first few circles. Your feet and ankles are now actively pumping fluid upward. Let's keep moving up the chain. The third movement is called slow marching, and this is where we start to involve your hips. Lie flat on your back on your bed, bend both knees, and plant your feet flat on the mattress. Now, slowly lift your right knee toward your chest. You don't need to pull it all the way up, just lift it to a comfortable height. Lower it back down. Now, lift your left knee. Alternate back and forth like you're marching in slow motion. Every time you lift a knee, your hip flexors compress the veins and lymph channels in your groin. That's the main junction, where all the fluid from your legs re-enters your core circulation. At the same time, the calf on the leg you're lifting contracts slightly to stabilize the movement, so with every single repetition, you're activating 2 pumps at once, the hip pump and the calf pump. Do 20 total reps, 10 on each side. Keep the pace slow. 2 seconds to lift, 2 seconds to lower. Breathe naturally through your nose. Don't hold your breath. If this feels easy and you want to make it more effective, here's how. As you lift each knee, flex your foot. Pull your toes back toward your shin. Now you're activating 3 pumps in one movement: foot, calf, and hip. Maximum fluid displacement. The big mistake here is going too fast. If you rush, you lose the pumping effect, and it just becomes a core workout. We don't want that. We want slow, deliberate movement that creates rhythm and flow in your circulation. After 20 reps, rest with your knees bent for about 30 seconds. You might already notice your legs feel lighter. That's not your imagination. That's fluid moving exactly where we want it to go. Now we're moving into the 4th exercise, and this one is the peak of the entire routine. It's called the pelvic lift with engagement, and it does something none of the other movements can do. It works your pelvic floor and drains your legs at the exact same time. Stay on your back, knees bent, feet flat and about hip width apart. Arms resting at your sides. Take a slow breath out through your mouth, and as you exhale, press through your heels and lift your hips off the bed. You don't need to go high, just enough so your body makes a straight line from your shoulders to your knees. Think of a gentle bridge. Here's the important part. At the top of the movement, hold the position for 5 full seconds. While you're holding, I want you to gently engage your pelvic floor. Imagine you're trying to stop the flow of urine midstream. It should be a light contraction, not a hard clench. You should feel a subtle lift in your lower pelvic area. Then slowly lower your hips back down as you breathe in. Let everything relax completely. Pause for 3 seconds, then repeat. Do 8 total repetitions. Let me tell you why this is so powerful. When your hips are elevated, gravity is helping drain fluid from your legs back toward your torso. But unlike just lying with your legs up, your glutes and hamstrings are actively contracting. That muscle contraction squeezes the large veins in your thighs and pelvis, pushing blood upward even more efficiently than gravity alone ever could. At the same time, that pelvic floor contraction teaches the muscle how to work properly. For most people over 60, the pelvic floor has either become too weak or too tight. Both cause bladder issues. This movement teaches the muscle to activate and then fully release. That contract and release cycle is what restores healthy bladder control over time. Two things to avoid. First, don't hold your breath. Breathe out as you lift, breathe in as you lower. Your breath and your pelvic floor are neurologically connected. Holding your breath creates internal pressure that works against what we're trying to accomplish. Second, don't squeeze your glutes as hard as you possibly can. This isn't a fitness challenge. Moderate effort. The goal is activation and drainage, not exhaustion. After your 8th rep, stay lying down. Let your body settle. You've just drained a significant amount of fluid and you've activated your pelvic floor. Now it's time for the final movement, and this is the one I want you to do every single night for the rest of your life. I call it the pelvic release breath. This is not just a relaxation technique. This is a specific neurological exercise that retrains the connection between your diaphragm and your pelvic floor. Most people don't realize this, but those two structures move together. When you breathe in deeply, your diaphragm pushes down and your pelvic floor gently descends. When you breathe out, your diaphragm rises and your pelvic floor lifts with it. But in many older adults, that coordination breaks down. The pelvic floor gets stuck in a partially contracted state. It forgets how to relax, and a tight pelvic floor puts constant pressure on the bladder. It makes your bladder overreact to small amounts of urine. You get urgent signals when your bladder is only half full because the muscle around it never releases. This breathwork retrains that coordination. It teaches your pelvic floor to drop and release deeply so your bladder can hold more, and those false alarms stop. Here's the technique. Stay lying on your back, knees still bent. Place one hand on your chest and one hand on your belly, just below your belly button. Breathe in slowly through your nose for a count of 4. As you breathe in, let your belly rise. Your chest should stay relatively still. But here's the key. As your belly rises, consciously allow your pelvic floor to soften and drop. Imagine the entire base of your pelvis opening downward, like a flower blooming or an elevator descending to the ground floor. Now breathe out slowly through your mouth for a count of 6. Purse your lips slightly, like you're blowing through a straw. As you exhale, feel your belly fall and feel your pelvic floor naturally lift, not forced. Just a gentle, natural rise, like that elevator slowly moving back up one floor. That's one complete cycle. Do 8 cycles total. In through the nose, belly rises, pelvic floor drops. Out through the mouth, belly falls, pelvic floor lifts. The key word here is gentle. You're not squeezing. You're not forcing anything. You're allowing the movement to happen. The pelvic floor should feel like it's floating up and down with your breath. After 8 cycles, stay lying down for another minute. Keep breathing naturally. Most people feel a profound sense of relaxation in their lower abdomen, a softness, a letting go. Some people tell me it's the first time in years they've actually felt their pelvic floor relax. This is the exercise I want you to do right before you close your eyes every night. It takes less than 2 minutes, and over the course of 1 to 2 weeks, it completely retrains your bladder's sensitivity. Now let's talk about timing, because this matters more than you think. The first 4 exercises, the thigh drainage, the ankle work, the marching, and the pelvic lift, do all of those about 60 to 90 minutes before bed. Not 5 minutes before. Not right at bedtime. You need that window. Here's why. After those 4 exercises, you've moved a lot of fluid back into your system. Your kidneys need time to process it. So do the 4 movements, then go about your evening. Read, watch something, talk with your family. Your kidneys are working in the background. Then, right before bed, go to the bathroom. Empty completely. Use the double voiding method. Go once, wait 20 seconds, lean forward slightly, then try again. You'll almost always find more. Then get into bed and do your pelvic release breath. That's your last action before sleep. This sequence works because you're giving your body time to process the fluid on your schedule, not at 2 in the morning. 2 quick bonus tips. If you take blood pressure medication or a diuretic, check what time you take it. If it's in the evening, ask your doctor if you can move it to morning. That alone can eliminate 1 bathroom trip. Second, watch your dinner sodium. If your evening meal has more than 600 milligrams of sodium, Your body will hold extra water and release it overnight. Keep salty foods earlier in the day. Try this routine tonight. Tomorrow morning, comment below and tell me how many times you got up. Then come back in 1 week and give me the new number. I read every comment, and your results give others hope. If this helped you, share it with someone who needs it. Subscribe if you haven't. Let's fix this together.